It is my pleasure to introduce Rachel Edwards, Midway High School valedictorian for the class of 2019.
To quote Michael Scott from The Office, I don't really know what to say. I'm not one for making speeches, but my heart is very full at this moment. Good evening, friends and family, faculty and staff, distinguished guests and members of the school board, and of course, my classmates in the Midway High School class of 2019. I'm humbled and honored to stand before you on arguably one of the most important and happiest days of our lives thus far. The truth is, none of us would be here without the help of so many people, so therefore, some thanks are in order. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, without whom I believe nothing would be possible. I want to thank all the parents and families of this graduating class for giving us the love and support it took for us to reach this milestone. To my parents, thank you, Mom, for attending every one of my soccer games and for pulling all-nighters with me back at A-Push. Also, I'm sorry for that. Thank you, Dad, for packing my lunchbox nearly every day and for cranking my car on all those cold mornings. I love you both very much. To the faculty and staff of Midway High School, thank you for creating a positive learning environment in which each of us have had the opportunity to receive an education, a blessing we take for granted much too often. Specifically, to Ms. Barefoot, Ms. Collier, and Mr. Shelton, among many others, thank you for persevering through teaching my classmates and I, despite our inability to stop talking in your classrooms. Thank you, Ms. Pate, for always lending an ear and for loving me more than you've yelled at me on a daily basis. And lastly, thank you, Ms. Creech and Ms. Stroud, for being the best teachers I never had. Also, shout out to Ms. Carr for having the most relatable Twitter in the entire school. Trying to write this speech being ironically cliche, and apparently with the same mindset as Mackenzie earlier, I also looked up the definition of valedictorian from Urban Dictionary. And it is defined as the student with the highest academic rank in a class who delivers the valedictory at graduation. Forget the first part of that, I wanted to know what a valedictory was. To my surprise, this is defined as a farewell address and a goodbye. Quite frankly, it saddened and frightened me to know that I was going to be responsible for saying goodbye to our class. Nevertheless, I told myself, it's going to be okay, with the best, calm, caring, color attitude I could have, and I wrote this speech. Looking back on the past 13 years of my life, the majority of which I've spent with the majority of you, it is unbelievable to think of all that we have learned, memorized, and are still clueless about. Yes, Mr. Shelton, I'm referring to the phases of mitosis, wherever you are. From the first day of school assemblies, to the pep rallies, to the Christmas tree lightings, we have relished in the traditions that Midway has given us. Who would have thought waiting 4 years just to win the Spirit Stick would become one of the most memorable moments of senior year? There were those days of staying up for 38 hours to finish that DBQ for Miss S, or the English reading for Barefoot, or just trying to get the first parking spot in the parking lot. And was it worth it? Of course it was. And to be clear, I'm only talking about the parking spot. Then there were the organized skip days and prom nights that made high school just a little bit more bearable as we rallied together to anger the entire staff and also break down on the dance floor. There were the joys of corn dog nugget days in the cafeteria, coming in late for first period and not getting caught roaming around the school for an hour. Or maybe that was just me. Regardless, I think we can all agree that nothing beat having Miss Sybil Knowles as a substitute or listening to Wallum roast any and every student. Of course, however, there were still the lows of high school, the days when nothing seemed possible. You would rather drop out than do a time trial in 45 minutes. You forgot about a vocabulary quiz, you failed a chemistry test, you were yelled at by Miss Smith for talking too much, you didn't get into the college you hoped for, and your life seemed as if it would never get better. But in spite of all these things, there were the extra days given for homework, the quizzes and tests we aced, the wisdom bestowed upon us by Ms. Collier, the second chances given that we desperately needed, and a sense of place and importance that was hopefully found each one of us at some point. Because you see, somehow, in the midst of the chaos, Midway granted us with the relationships and circumstances that have been instrumental in our growth as young adults. Whether you realize your dreams in the classroom, on the ball field, or lying in bed at 3 a.m., or if you're still searching for an aspiration, I hope we all fully realize that this place and these people are responsible for changing us forever. I'm deeply appreciative for all that each of us, as classmates, friends, and one family, have given one another, whether it was advice that saved our lives or just answers to homework. Because today, our lives truly begin. Today, we become more accountable for ourselves and our prosperity than we ever have, wherever we are headed. Today, there's a choice before us all. We can either carry all that we have learned over our many years together with us, or we don't. I, for one, choose to take the love, hardships, victories, patience, failures, and everything in between that I found at Midway with me. For without these highs and lows, I would not be the person I am today. So for all of you, I'm eternally grateful. In a short while, we are going to walk across the stage and receive the diplomas that we thought would never come. Now, that diploma is so much more than a piece of paper inside a fancy cover. It truly encompasses all the many memories that have been made over these past 13 years at Midway and beyond. As we turn our tassels, a piece of us will die here today. Now, this might mean our childhood and innocence, the last time you could get away with not studying until the period before, or simply the end of an education so rooted in our benefit and best interest. But luckily for us, in its place, a new piece will grow that has already been nourished by the love, support, and education we've received at Midway. As we go forward, we must face the future with willing hearts and open minds, because I genuinely believe that each of us have the potential to do extraordinary things in this life, if only we try. Ultimately, it is true that today may be a goodbye for many of us. Maybe the last time you see your speech in person sitting to your left or to your right. But I want to remind all of you that so much more than that, today is only the beginning of a lifetime of experience, adventure, success, and joyful moments to come that I pray finds all of you. So with that being said, congratulations and farewell to the Midway High School class of 2019. Thank you.